Hey, what's up, guys? Good to be back with you here again. We are still 6 points behind Ilaoa and Tolmata. We're playing as Royal Puma today. They're in third place, and we've got a little bit of a problem as I was looking here at the tactics screen. The problem that we have here is that we have a number of players who are on international duty, including our best goaltender and our backup goaltender. How about that? As well as some names that are pretty familiar to you, such as Famuana. We're going to be missing... let's see who else. I think that Maile is here still. I'm trying to find him. Perhaps he's here and he's in the club and the team, and I just don't know. Yeah, Maile is here. We're actually going to put Maile up here, and we're going to have him playing the deep lying forward position. But there are a number of players who, like Palipua and others, who are going to be on international duty, either with the American Samoa first team or with the under 20s, I think it is, team, that will unfortunately not be able to play with us in this match. This means that we're at a massive, massive disadvantage. This is one of those things that comes up in Football Manager from time to time and is a little bit of a problem. As much fun as it is to have a challenge in a game, this gets a little bit ridiculous when your best players are all out because of international duty, and so you've got to play in a match that's actually really important with a team that's kind of stripped down. Now, if the team in front of us continues to win and doesn't lose at all, it doesn't really matter how we do in this match. We win or we lose, it's just about the same. But I would really like to catch up with Ilaoa and Tolmata and try to get to the Champions League again for the second year in a row. They have won 10 straight, first 10 games of the 20-game season, and so we have to hope that we can beat them and that they mess up one other time, and I'm not sure. We have to get through this match first, and this looks like it might be a very, very tough one for us. Seleni gets that ball and dumps it over and doesn't really find much of anybody, and so it's not exactly the best start to the game for us. We have Felice Fata in goal, who I think has played before on camera. I can't remember. Ledoux here with the corner knocks this one over, and it's Maile, of all people, who gets that head onto it and scores the first goal. 1-0 for PanSa East FC. So Maile gets the goal, and at least we've scored. That takes that pressure off of us, but now we have to make sure that we figure out a way to stay into this match as long as we can. I mean, we're not even 10 minutes into it yet. And hope that we can prevent them from scoring and maybe add one or two other goals on in the process. Fawa Danielson knocks this one back over to Ledoux, who can't quite get hit onto that. It ends up with Ami Sone, who passed that forward from Maile. Boy, that's almost a goal. Fawa Danielson with it again. And, oh, man, he is tackled there right in the heart of the penalty box. They're not calling a penalty on that one at all, unfortunately for us. And you can see Fawa Danielson saw right here that he had a wide open net and was trying to scurry after that one and was just brought down. Kind of hard to tell, of course, with the animations in the game whether that deserved a foul or not, but it's always a shame when it doesn't happen. We want to see that happen more often. Moy passes it forward to Petupoli, who finds Maile, brings it down, and that's in for a goal number 2 for Toa Maile, and that makes it 2-0 PanSa East FC, and maybe we can breathe a little bit easier. So that's a absolutely remarkable goal, and Maile was, over the offseason, he was on the American Samoa national team for at least one game, but thankfully he's not on it today. So it could be a lot worse, I'll tell you that. 2-0 for PanSa East FC, and we're happy to keep him here as long as we can. And let's see if we can defend here against this throw and against this sort of set piece. And we don't do a great job of defending, but fortunately for us, their shot is way off target. And so we're doing okay here so far. The ball comes in here for Ledoux. Ledoux over looking for Maile for that hat trick. Can't quite find him. Ends up with Tua. Tua finds Maile, and there is that hat trick. There it is. I tell you, Maile, I don't know what rating he has for big matches, but it must be pretty good because he tends to show up in these types of matches. I love seeing him play in matches like this one. And 3-0 for PanSa East FC. I should say 3-0 for Toa Maile, who has been all over the place here in this first half. And this... I think having these two strikers really helps out because the opposing defense has to worry about Petupoli, who has one assist already. And when you got two strikers who can score like this, it makes it really, really challenging. Maile is not the one who's supposed to be scoring the goals, but he's ending up on the front end of a lot of these, which is fine. We'll take it. We win this in midfield again over to Fao Danielson to Kaleopa, back to Moe. Moe back to Kaleopa. Kaleopa lumps this one forward for Petupoli. That wasn't very well thought out by Kaleopa. He should slow it down a little bit. And we win this in midfield again. It's Maile over to Petupoli, and that was, again, a little bit too fast. I do have it on balance, still not on attacking. Petupoli over to Fao Danielson, who finds Petupoli and finds him in space. Pass over to Ledoux. Not much happening there. Ami Some with it over to Seleni, and he takes a shot from range. Chris Seleni gets his first goal of the season. I can't remember what position he's playing. Is he playing defensive midfield today? We can take a look probably in a second and see. If so, that's that segundo volante role, which many people have told me is overpowered here in FM 23. And, I mean, if he's not really a defensive midfielder, that would show you that, yeah, the role is probably pretty good. We can't even see what position he's playing because we keep scoring goals in these highlights. It's 4-0 for PanSa East FC. And all of those worries and all that nervousness at the beginning ends up going away. And Ledoux just can't quite get onto that one, but Fata fortunately has the safe hands, grabs that ball, pulls it to his chest, and we still have not given up a goal, despite the fact that we have probably our third-choice goaltender in there, and he's not following the instructions. You're supposed to pass it out slowly, not quickly. Fao Danielson to Toa. Toa finds Petupoli. Petupoli is going to get, nope, he just misses that shot. He wants to get on the scorer's list as well. I think it was offside, too. Ikuvalu with it, and their goaltender rather. It's taken in by Petupoli, who fouls back, and there's no call at all. A lot of swallowing of the whistle here, and ends up with Felice, who takes a shot from range, and that goes over everybody's head. Doesn't really count for much. Kaleopa now with the throw into Petupoli. Petupoli with it back to Kaleopa. Kaleopa takes it himself, does a little bit of a dance over to Fao Danielson. Fao Danielson over to Kaleopa to Toa to Petupoli, and he's still looking for that goal, and he was offside anyway. It wasn't much of a shot. So we just miss winning that one in midfield. It is Ashley for them, Mark Ashley, who scores the goal. And I remember that name. I think that he has scored for Royal Puma against us before. And this was a pretty poor job by us here in midfield, just sort of letting this ball get in behind us. There's nobody back there. I'm not quite sure what the defense is doing because I've told them to play deep. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know why we decided to do that and not get ourselves in position. 4-1. I guess we're supposed to give up a goal since we don't have our best defenders back there. I think a football manager, sometimes if your players just are not of high enough quality, they end up doing weird things like that. They'll end up not following instructions and all of that stuff. So we definitely have seen a lot of that here so far in this save. It's Petupoli who ends up winning this ball right there, literally in midfield over to Maile, and he's fouled from behind. There's going to be a free kick here. Moe takes it, looking for Maile or Petupoli. Can't find either one. Maile gets it now over to Fao Danielson, who takes kind of a wasteful shot from range. There was no real need to do that, and it's out for a goal kick for them. That's another example of these players sort of doing random things because they can do it, I guess. Fata grabs onto that one, prevents the cross from going through, and we have just a couple of minutes, I think, of stoppage time here before halftime. There's another one of those videos where we've had highlight after highlight, and it's Kaleopa with it, who knocks us forward looking for Petupoli, and he found him, and that's a goal. Number 7 of the season for Petupoli, 5-1 now for PanSa East FC. And we are starting to run away with this one. That was passed forward and in good open space. And Petupoli, all he had to do was just keep his pace and stop with that one. Nobody could get in front of him. Blew past 4 guys and scored the goal. And if that had bounced off the crossbar, we had somebody right next to him too who could have got that rebound in there. 5-1 here, only at the end of the first half. And it's 5-2 now as Fiatele Salapu ends up scoring that one for Royal Puma. Another really poor defensive job by us. You would think this wouldn't be much of an attacking position, but apparently it is. It's not the prettiest cross in the world, but we have a defender there who was completely out of position trying to head it and doesn't really know what angle the ball is coming in at. So 5-2 here going into halftime. This is kind of a whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. This is kind of the average performance that we would have at this level. Unfortunately, I can't get away from doing that. Yes, Seleni is the segundo volante, which is what I wanted to see. And Maele is upset with me now since I told him he did a bad job after he scored a hat-trick. Moe over to Kaleopa. We'll see what happens. Maybe I've destroyed the whole save with that Kaleopa, and it's taken away from him. and then Kalliope wins it back. So there you have it. I would like to see us give up less than 2 goals, though, if we're able to score 5. But whatever. Toa with another one of these shots from range. He's done that a lot, and he needs to learn how to not do that and to instead work with his teammates. We could use some work on teamwork, I would say. And so let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can win this ball back and see if I can sort of atone for hitting the wrong button. And unfortunately, instead, Mark Ashley for them scores his second goal. And this is concerning. And so we're going to demand more and try to get a little bit of a better performance out of these guys defensively. 5-3 is the score now, and we have to kind of pay attention to this again because it's not quite over yet. That's really, really poor by Fata, and I'd put anybody else in there if I could, but we have nobody. I mean, we literally have nobody who can play goal other than him. And so, yeah, that's what we're kind of stuck with. I'm happy that we have 3 keepers instead of just 2, which is what I wanted to stick with at the beginning of the season. Moy over to Fata. Fata takes it, walks it up, passes over to Moy, lumps it forward for Petupoli and can't quite find him, and we're in trouble again. But Seleni's able to intercept that over to Toa to Fawa Danielson. Back over to Kalliope. Kalliope passes back to Moy. Moy lumps this forward, looking for Petupoli. Can't quite find him, but it's Toa who wins this in midfield over to Seleni. And Seleni lumps this one forward for Petupoli, who should have scored a goal. It's really, really poor shot by him. I mean, he didn't need to go for that far post. If he had just knocked that one forward, he would have scored. The goalkeeper was way out of position. So Ledoux with it. Roy crosses this over to Maile, who just barely misses getting number 4. And he was adjudicated to be offside anyway, so it doesn't really matter in the end. When we look at this, we can see that it's pretty clear that he's maybe like a foot or 2 offside. Petupoli was certainly offside, though, and so our offside woes continue. And now they have it in an attacking position. We better watch out, or we're going to let them back into this game, and that is problematic. Fortunately for us, the angle is bad for them. That was ridiculous. That was an absolutely ridiculous shot by Feta, who has no business trying to grab this one. Look at how far out he goes, and he misses it completely. That's the last thing in the world you want to do. Fortunately for us, they don't know how to cross, apparently, but yeah, this is problematic. Very, very problematic. Let's see what we can do. We have about a half hour left. Let's see if we can stay in this one. It's Maile who wins this one, and it's taken off of him. Goes all the way back, and Moy gets it and passes it over to Ashley for them, who scores number 3, and he gets his hat trick. And this is a big problem. We may need to get Moy out of there. I mean, this was ridiculous. A really, really poor defensive job. 5-4 now for PanSa East FC. The lead has been diminished significantly, and we're going to pause this one as soon as this highlight's over, and let's see if we can do something. So Moy is going to come out. What an awful, awful performance by him, and I'm not happy with that at all. Let's see who else we can get out. Auto size all columns. And yeah, I mean, look at this. Felice Fata, and there's nobody who can come in for him, which is the problem that we have. Fawa Danielson having a horrible match. We'll put Mark Tagai in there. It means that we have, again, 3 strikers basically on the pitch. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get the ball back, first of all. And this is pretty bad. I mean, this goalkeeper probably is not going to be on the team any longer after this one. I can't really imagine, us sticking with him after this type of performance. Ami Sone, and I mean, this isn't like a match that's not important at all. This is a pretty important match if we want to stand a chance of getting back into it. It's Kalliope with the ball here, over to Tagai, who's playing an unfamiliar role. Over to Kalliope again. He finds Petupoli. There he is. Petupoli, and he lumps this over for Ledoux, and that is Roy Ledoux missing the header again, as he usually does. He gets a good crossover, though, to Maile, who has 2 different attempts at it with his head, and both are saved. The first one was saved and knocked back to him, and he tried to head it again. Not a bad job there by Maile. So the first one is saved, knocked right back to him. He didn't even know the next one hit him, so it wasn't much of a shot. But good job by Maile being in the right place at the right time. Mark Tagai with this over to Petupoli, and he blasts a shot from range that does absolutely nothing. Still 5-4 for PanSa East FC. It's going to be Ikuvalu here, their goaltender, who knocks this one forward, and it's Toa who gets the midfield over to Mark Tagai. Tagai doesn't know what to do, and he ends up losing the ball, and we've seen him do that a lot. I've talked about this before. He has this tendency to do nothing with it when he has it. It's Tagai and Petupoli and also Roy Ledoux who have that problem where they get the ball and they fall asleep. Faoga now finds Ledoux. Ledoux with it, crosses to nobody. Mark Tagai now with it. He's going to try to cross here, and there it goes up to a defending player. So was not a great job by him. Tawa with it over to Seleni. Seleni finds Mark Tagai again, and there is Maile with another one that just goes right over the top crossbar. It's out for a goal kick. That didn't hit the crossbar. That just sort of bounced right on top of the net. And Petupoli ends up passing that one to Ledoux instead of to Maile. Ledoux takes one of these shots from range that he really shouldn't be doing, and we have a problem. We're going to put that always cross on. Fata ends up grabbing this one. He looks really, really bad out there. And this is probably going to be the end of the line for Fata. And, I mean, he's not following instructions at all. And Maile at least has a attempt on this, so it could be worse. Yeah, Fata is not following instructions at all and is going to find himself in a very, very unfavorable position here in a second once his match is done. And let's see what we can do. We have 15 more minutes to hold on. Here's a corner for Ledoux. Steps back and goes up and fires. And finds Fetuau, but unfortunately the angle's not quite right, and that is out for another goal kick. About 10 minutes left in this match. Let's see if we can hold on. We've had good performances, but we've had really, really poor defensive performance, especially from our keeper, and that's a very, very frustrating match. Fetuau ends up just giving up possession, and it's Kalliopa who passes this one, crosses it through, but we're able to prevent it from going through much further. It's Ledoux with it here, and he passes up to Kalliopa, who's got to slow it down a little bit, and he does. Finds Sasal over to Tagai, who is a little bit too fast, trying to find Petupoli, ends up giving up possession really easily. This ends up being lumped forward for Petupoli over to Roy Ledoux, and he should have headed that one instead of hitting it with his foot. Yeah. You know it's a fun save when you feel like you're actually coaching these guys and you're thinking, yeah, this is what happens at the amateur level. We do need to move on. I know I had a video a couple of days about that. We need to think about moving on and finding a team that is a little bit more professional than this, because this is getting absolutely ridiculous. And that is a corner kick, even though that went off of the attacking player. I'm not quite sure why that was a corner kick, judging from the angle. Fata, thankfully, is able to go up and grab that one instead of doing something bizarre with it. A couple of minutes left. He's going to kick this one deep, which he shouldn't do, but he's going to do it anyway, and he's going to get in a lot of trouble with me. How is Petupoli offside there? That's a ridiculous call. A couple seconds left in this match, maybe, let's see what happens here. And we give up possession really, really easily, and Sasala ends up knocking that one off into touch, and it doesn't matter at the end. We have a 2.40 XG. They only have 0.70, and we give up 4 goals. We won the possession battle, as we usually do. More shots than them, more shots on target. It was just a bad match by the goaltender. So there you have it. We win again, 5-4. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.